What if I told you that beneath the sands of Egypt lies a valley so perfectly hidden? It protected the world's most powerful rulers for over 3,000 years, and we're still discovering its secrets today. Picture this: a sun-scorched, silent valley tucked behind the cliffs of western Thebes. For nearly 500 years, this was the final resting place of Egypt's New Kingdom pharaohs, a labyrinth of tombs carved deep into the rock, filled with gold, artifacts, and spells to guide kings into the afterlife. But the Valley of the Kings wasn't just a royal cemetery. It was a fortress of silence, a masterpiece of ancient engineering designed to defy thieves, time, and even modern science. Yet for all its grandeur, the valley held a dark secret. Almost every tomb was eventually found and plundered. All except one. Let's journey back to a time when pharaohs ruled as living gods, and their deaths triggered the most ambitious burial projects in human history. In ancient Egypt, death wasn't an end, it was a doorway. And for a pharaoh, that doorway had to be magnificent. Earlier pyramids, like those at Giza, were too visible, too tempting for grave robbers. So around 1500 BC, Pharaoh Thutmose I made a radical decision. He would be buried not in a towering pyramid, but in a hidden tomb cut deep into the desert mountains. The Valley of the Kings was born. This was no random choice. The valley's natural pyramid-shaped peak, known today as Elquaran, was seen as a sacred symbol of rebirth. Its remote location, surrounded by cliffs, offered natural protection. But the real genius was underground royal architects and workers, highly skilled artisans who lived in a special village called Deir el-Medina, began carving intricate tombs straight into the limestone. These weren't simple holes in the ground. They were multi-chambered journeys into the underworld, descending hundreds of feet, decorated floor to ceiling with colorful hieroglyphs from the Book of the Dead. Each corridor, each chamber, was a map of the pharaoh's path through the afterlife. But building these tombs came with immense challenges. Workers used copper chisels and stone hammers, tools that dulled quickly against solid rock. They carved by torchlight in stifling heat, navigating unstable layers of stone and sudden floods. Some tombs collapsed during construction. Others were abandoned and repurposed. And then there was the security. The entrance to each tomb was sealed, hidden, and guarded. Some had false doors, deep pits to trap intruders, and corridors that doubled back on themselves. The Egyptians believed curses protected the sacred spaces, warnings inscribed on walls that promised misery or death to anyone who disturbed the king's eternal sleep. Yet one by one, the tombs were found and emptied. Gold, jewelry, statues, all stolen over the centuries. By the time modern archaeologists arrived, most tombs were bare. It seemed the valley had given up all its secrets. But then, in 1922, everything changed. A determined archaeologist named Howard Carter had been searching for years for one specific tomb, that of the young pharaoh Tutankhamun. Most experts told him the valley was exhausted. There was nothing left to find. But Carter believed one tomb remained hidden after years of digging with little to show. His team uncovered a single stone step leading down into the bedrock. What they found next would rewrite history. A perfectly preserved burial chamber, filled with golden chariots, ornate thrones, jewelry, and the famous solid gold mask of the boy king himself. Tutankhamun's tomb was a time capsule, the only royal burial found nearly intact. Its discovery proved that the valley still held secrets. and it sparked a new era of exploration today. Archaeologists use ground-penetrating radar, laser scanning, and thermal imaging to peer through solid rock. They've discovered hidden chambers, unknown corridors, and even potential new tombs, including one that may belong to the famous Queen Nefertiti. Each find peels back another layer of this ancient mystery. We now know the valley contains at least 65 tombs, from simple pits to sprawling underground palaces. Some belonged to pharaohs like Ramesses the Great. Others held royal wives, children, and even prized pets. Each tomb tells a story of belief, of power, of a civilization that invested everything in the journey beyond death. But the greatest lesson of the Valley of the Kings isn't about treasure. It's about human ingenuity. The Egyptians didn't just bury their kings, they built eternal homes designed to last forever. They chose a hidden valley, engineered impossible structures, and filled them with art and writing meant to guide souls through the darkness. And in a way, they succeeded. Because though the gold is gone, the stories remain. The valley still captures our imagination, still guards its final mysteries, and still reminds us that some secrets are buried not to be lost, but to be found when the world is ready. Which lost tomb or ancient mystery should we explore next? Let me know in the comments. Your suggestion could be our next adventure.